Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning.
What a game last night.
You know
what
what?
A game.
I hate to say this, but I'm afraid you're not going to be allowed back into the city of Atlanta where you have a home or back into the state of Georgia where you grew up because you have picked against the University of Georgia against Michigan and against Alabama last night.
At the SEC Championship
You
game
did?
against Michigan.
Oh, that's right, because you got that one right.
You got one right.
Okay, you got that one right, but, you know, it's a little bit of shame on you, Mr. Sharpe.
It is. I kind of grew up in Georgia.
I think you kind of did. Well, you got LA now, so enjoy it.
Friends,
All right, UCLA, give me something to brag about.
Everyone is celebrating because that was an incredible game last night. So fans in Georgia, no doubt, they're feeling good today, celebrating after their first national championship in 41 years. After the Bulldogs stunned the Crimson Tide 33-18 last night. And Georgia scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to seal the deal, including a pick 6 in the final minute. And the loss was only Nick Saban's second defeat at the hands of a former assistant, as Kirby Smart got revenge after losing to Bama in this year's SEC Championship, which you guys just talked about. So, Shannon, what is the biggest reason Georgia won this one?
Alabama didn't capitalize on opportunities. Skip, they had 6 drives that reached at least the Georgia 30-yard line, and they attempted 5 field goals. They made 4 of those. And when you're playing a team of Georgia caliber, you can't afford to do that, especially when you're having the success against that kind of the defense that they possess. They're big, they're fast, they're strong, they're physical, they're a dominant defense. And Bryce Young did a great job. The rest that he was under, Skip, the hits that he took and delivering the ball in which he was delivering it, he didn't get a whole lot to show for it. Skip, I'm going to discount the last 60 yards because that was in a 2-minute situation. They're behind and they're trying to catch up. But the first 300 yards that he got, Skip, he earned every last one of them. And in a game of this magnitude, Skip, I can give you a play and it can be 100 words long. But at the end of that play, I just need to know, did somebody make a play?
Yep.
And there were opportunities. Latou had an opportunity, Skip. He gets to run. He runs down. The guy overruns it. He takes off, chases him down. Skip, you get the ball on the 5-yard line and you come away with a field goal.
Yep.
He gets an opportunity to he gets an opportunity to score a touchdown. He drops it in the end zone. You settle for a field goal. They're just playing guys, Skip, that hadn't played a lot. And I'm not so sure. They might turn around. But normally when you see Alabama and they play freshmen, I think of Devontae Smith. I think of Jerry Jeudy. I think of guys of those names, Skip.
Yeah.
Those guys made plays. And last night, they didn't make plays. And give Georgia credit, Skip. I said, you got to make this a Stetson Bennett game for the entirety of the game.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, they break off the long run. Cooks have one. The other guy has one. And now all of a sudden, you allow Stetson Bennett to relax. 2nd and 18. You know you bring in pressure. The DB gets beat twice. He holds on one. Okay, no problem. You don't want to give up the deep play. Skip, but then you come in pressure. You can't let the guy get behind you.
Yep.
So it was the opportunities. But even though Alabama didn't catch the opportunities, give Georgia credit. Because they got down to the 30-yard line, they bowed their backs, Skip. They bowed their backs and they said, you are not getting this ball in the end zone. And on that 2-point play, it was very evident. Against everybody else, Bryce Young gets the corner, Skip. That's a 2-point play. Now they're up by 7.
Yep.
I don't know how that guy tracked him because he lost contain and still was able to track down Bryce Young before he got to the pylon. So for me, Skip, Bryce Young played well. When Jamison Williams went down, Skip, you could kind of feel like, I don't know now. You lose Mechie, you lose Jamison Williams. Now you playing with Trayshawn Holden, I think it said Ujai Hall.
Yep.
Skip, Ja'Cory Brooks. You're playing with guys, true freshmen, guys that haven't played a whole lot, and I'm not so sure Coach Saban is counting on those guys contributing. But Bryce Young, give him credit. He stood in there. But I think Georgia won the game. Alabama had opportunities. But Georgia, in order for you to have somebody to have opportunities, someone had to take those opportunities away. And Georgia did a good job of taking those opportunities away. Kudos to the Bulldogs. They earned this one.
They did. And I was so happy for them and Kirby Smart in their tradition and everybody involved over the last 41 years who has not been able to participate in the national championship because it's been one of the dominant programs in the country and didn't have anything to really show for it since Herschel Walker and
in 1980. It was his freshman year, actually.
Yeah, it actually was. Okay. I was happy for them that I think they proved last night what they actually proved the whole year. The reason I did pick them to beat Michigan, I did pick them last night, was I thought they were the best team all year long. I'm not talking about for 2 or 3 games. I'm talking for the whole SEC schedule. By the way, the same schedule that Lincoln Riley, Stinking Lincoln, ran from and went to USC because he said, I don't want any part of that, right?
They loaded in this game.
They are loaded, and they're picked again. As we speak, those two are picked again to be 1-2-2-1 next year in the race. Okay. Think about what Georgia did during the year. They won their SEC games by an average of 32 points a game. I watched them against my Vanderbilt Commodores, and they had a tough rebuilding year, but it was so over at halftime. I think it was 32-0 at halftime, and I don't want to tell you what the final score was because it was just embarrassing. But the point was they were a steamroller on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
And if you look at what Alabama did through its SEC schedule, it struggled with just about everybody. It won its SEC games by a total average of 13 a game. So 32 a game average for Georgia versus 13 a game for Alabama. And Alabama lost on a fateful Saturday evening in College Station to A&M. And it looked like that was going to haunt them until they got to the SEC championship game. But the point was that Georgia dominated, and you could make a case, you would have made a case, if they could have beaten Alabama in the SEC championship game, you would have been saying, you'd make the case this is all-time great.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially on the defensive side.
Yes.
But you know and I know what happened in the SEC championship game. The roof fell in on them, and Bryce Young, the Heisman winner, fell on them. He hadn't won it yet, but he fell in on them.
He solidified it with that performance.
He won it. He ran away with it. But remember, he was within one throw of losing the Heisman and them losing the whole year against Auburn in the Iron Bowl. It's 10-3 Auburn with seconds left in regulation. And he hit Ja'Cory Brooks, who became the featured star last night as a true freshman because he was it.
Right.
But the point was, what a catch, what a throw, and what a catch that was to save the game and get it to overtime that they finally prevailed in, 3 overtimes against Auburn. Okay, well, Georgia crushed all these teams, all the teams that Alabama struggled with. So I was just happy for them last night because here's the God's truth. Georgia's just a little bit better than Alabama is.
Oh, yeah, they were. Yeah, player for player, absolutely.
Just player for player, all the way across the board. And obviously, in the big picture, I'll take Bryce Young over Stetson Bennett. But last night, I thought Stetson slightly outplayed Bryce. And the reason Stetson did it last night was I think they just drummed in his head for how many weeks? What was it, 3 weeks to get ready for this? I think they pounded into his psyche, just don't turn it over. If you turn it over 4 times against Alabama, we will lose.
You're losing.
And remember, he's a former walk-on. He had to go to junior college in Mississippi for a brief stint.
He's from near where I grew up at Skip. I grew up in Glenville. He grew up in Blackshear, Pierce County, which is about 45 minutes to an hour away from me.
Okay, got it. But he had no business. When this season started, he was 4th on the depth chart. When they beat Clemson 10-3, he was nowhere to be seen. Nobody even thought about Stetson Bennett. What is he, the 4th?
The 4th.
Okay, so for him to get through this game unscathed, because you don't think he was under just as much heat.
Oh, they was coming.
They were all after.
Yeah, they blitzed him the first play of the game.
First play of the game. And to his credit, he just hung in. And when he didn't have it, he threw it out of bounds. He got one grounding call. And then if we could see the one they called fumble, I did not think this was a fumble, but I also thought that Alabama had just won the football game. This is 11:52 left in the 4th. He goes back and they're all over him again. And I thought his hand was coming forward with football in it. And because he's being yanked down, the football went straight up. But that's a forward pass to me. That's just me. And then we saw the Alabama play.
He just like, I just
like casually like, oh, well, the play's over. Ho-hum, nonchalant. And it became, whoops, it's your ball. And here you go. And then I thought Bryce Young made the throw of the night for him on the rollout pass to the tight end that cashed in on this. This is sweet now. This is hard because they're all over him, and he throws it across his body, Aaron Rodgers-like, back to Devontae, except it's to the tight end. And it's a beautiful play. And I thought at that point, because what did that make it, 18-13 Alabama, I just felt like the whole the Indy sky is about to fall on them, right? Because Alabama owns them psychologically, and I just thought, okay, what do you got now? Because I'm afraid you're going to unravel. This was the classic moment that Stetson Bennett IV turns back into a pumpkin. And he throws one to Alabama, and they return it for a touchdown, and the game is over. Okay, could we see then what Stetson Bennett IV proceeded to do to answer that? It was spectacular. Here's the first throw. Okay, that's pretty good. He's got a nice arm. He's got a nice arm, really. And
this is okay. You can Skip. I get that. The guy double move you. You hold him. Okay, no problem.
He had to grab
Skip.
Okay, and then we're going back again. I know we're not going to show that again. I got you. And then here's the one.
This is the one right here.
No,
he got
that's the sack. Okay, so now it looks like you're dead to rights, and then they're offside. So he's got sort of a free play, and he throws it up to Adonai Mitchell, and it's ball game turnaround because that was his throw of the night, right? Okay, so that makes it 19-18 because they went for two and missed it. But you just felt like all of a sudden Georgia said no, we refuse. And then the statement came on then they go Alabama went 3 and out, and then the statement drive came the next one when they didn't throw it, they started to run it. And Zeus White, he just starts hammering away, and they go 4, 7, 5, 7. Then they got a pass interference, and then 7. And then that Brock Bowers kid, you want to talk about a young stud?
He'll be legit. He's real. A true freshman.
A true freshman.
From out here in California.
Yeah, from Northern California. And here's the little flip to him. And watch the takeoff. This is a quote-unquote tight end. I don't even know what you call it. He's some hybrid, you know, your basic, like 6'4", 260, who can run 4.5.
Well, the defense would probably list him as an F, call him a flyer.
Yeah.
Because he's in between a tight end and a wide receiver.
He is. Well, you can just see the burst that he has.
Yeah.
He's difficult. They actually did a nice job on him.
They did.
But that was it. And then I thought Kirby Smart might have blown it right there because there was a personal foul, a roughing the passer. Well, they could have had it at the 1 to go for 2 to ice it. And instead, he just
on the kickoff.
They took it on the kickoff, but then the pick 6 occurred. So anyway, the point is, I just thought, to your point, look, Alabama had the ball 3 times. They had 3 first downs inside the Georgia 20 early on. They had 2 first downs inside the 10, and those all cashed with only 3s. Okay, 3-3-3.
Well, Skip, you remember the one drive, they had a 17-play drive that ended up in no points because the guy dropped it on 3rd down, and then you get the field goal block. So now you just had 17 plays, which is so, Skip, you know them long drives. You're like, ooh, we just pounding them. We doing what we want to do, and we got to pay it off with something. You love to play it off with a touchdown, but at least pay it off with something. You paid this off with nothing. Georgia has to feel unbelievable. And you're right. I remember I texted my brother. I said, Georgia's starting to wear them down because, Skip, when they were at first, those runs that we're talking about, they went for no gain. Now, all of a sudden, the no gains went for 4 yards. The 4 yards going for 10 yards. And the next thing you know, you see James Cook break out for 61. You see the other guy. Now all of a sudden, Stetson Bennett. So now we go play action. Safety's got to get nosy because, Skip, now all of a sudden our front 7 can't handle it. I got to put my nose into it. Now we're isolating these young corners. I think both of them are like freshmen or one's a sophomore. Now you're isolating those guys. And the difference is, Skip, if you look at last night, Georgia's receivers made every throw, every catch that touched their hands, they came down with it. Alabama, that did not happen.
Bryce had one deep ball that should have been caught. He just got his hand on it and couldn't hang on.
Brooks did bring the other hand. But Skip, on that 3rd down, 84, Hall has it. I don't know. Skip, he jumps to catch a ball over the shoulder, and he should have caught it like this. He jumps to catch it like this. I'm like, bro, how do you got your hands?
I don't know.
Look at this. Skip, he I'm like, bro, I don't know how you got your hand. Skip, that's an over-the-shoulder catch.
It is. But to Georgia's credit, they turned their scheme upside down because they were a zone-heavy team, and they just said, we got to go man, and we got to send people after him.
Yeah. No, they were doing a lot of twisting.
Yep.
They brought a lot of pressure. Because, Skip, here's the thing. They normally can get home with 4. Just those 4. They got some studs. Their 4 D linemen, they all playing on Sunday. Those linebackers, they're all playing on Sunday. Even the backup, they don't start, they're going to be playing on Sunday. Yep. Kirby Smart, I don't know what Coach Saban might have gave him too much of the sauce because he knows how to go to people's house, go to mama's house and sit on the couch and eat fried catfish and get them too, Skip, because he loaded. That defense is loaded.
Whew. So I never thought I would see the championship night that a Nick Saban team would have to throw it 57 times because it ran it for a total of, and this includes the minus sack yards, but its rushing total was 42 yards for this game. 57 passes to 42 rush yards. I never thought I would see that.
Oh, I knew they were going to do that because you're not running Georgia. You're not going to run the ball on them. I thought they ran it. The only one call that I really had a problem with, I thought on 2nd and 1, Skip, they should have just run the football and got the first down. Bill O'Brien tried to do like an RPO.
He did.
But in a situation like that, just line up and say, hand the ball off to Robinson Jr. And let's get the first down and let's get a new set of downs and let's go play football after that. But Georgia's not going to allow you to play football. And that's what they did the last time against in the SEC Championship. You spread them out. If you notice, Skip, when they were going tempo, Georgia big guys started getting fatigued. So Nick Saban says, okay, let's speed it up. Let's keep the tempo up. But in the process of doing that, you need to pay it off. You need to get the ball in the end zone, Skip.
By the way, to your point quickly, Kirby Smart said in his first stand-up post-game interview on the field that we got, to quote him, pissed off about this idea that we were getting tired, wearing down. Now, I don't know if he heard that via TV because it became a TV theme that the Alabama sideline thinks that Georgia's wearing down.
Right.
And he said at halftime, it's like manhood's got challenged.
Oh, yeah.
Are we worn down and out now? Or are we going to take a stand here?
Right.
Right.
And they bowled their back. Like I said, that defense and Stetson Bennett, like you said, once he turned the ball over, he didn't miss another throw. Guys came down with everything. Even he had to back out of the backfield. He bobbled it, and he came down with it. I was like, that's when you drop your head. It's like, you know what? It's not our night tonight.
Yep.
Give the young man credit, Skip. He's been heavily criticized. Guys will walk on. He was a 4th string, and he worked his way. And now, in a state that he grew up in, a team that he idolized, that he always wanted to play for, Skip, he's in lore. He's Buck Bellew. He's Herschel Walker.
Yep.
Coach Kirby Smart is on the pantheon with Coach Dooley.
You got that right.
I grew up in the state of Georgia. I know what Coach Dooley represents.
Yep, he was there last night.
He was there last night.
So here's the bottom line. In the second half last night, you love Alabama. You love Coach Saban. He's St. Nick to you. They got outscored 27-9 in the second half. They got outscored 20-9 in the fourth quarter. Okay, is that Ain't Nick or St. Nick?
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, they just started wearing down. Give Georgia credit. You got to make plays. In a game of this magnitude, Skip, I think that if you look at Tom, guys, no matter who comes in the game, Tyler Johnson comes in for AB. He makes plays. Brashard Perriman, who's bounced around the league, yes, he was a first-round pick. He makes plays. That's what it comes down to, Skip. It does not matter. I don't care how great your quarterback is or how great your head coach. It comes down to Jims and Joes making plays. The Jims on the Georgia Bulldogs side made plays. The Joes on the Alabama side, they didn't make plays. Now, this is a valuable learning experience going into next year, next spring. Spring is going to happen in about 2-3 months, Skip.
Yeah.
These guys got an opportunity to play in a national championship game, and it should bode well moving forward. But that's a big stage for a freshman. There's a reason why Devontae Smith, the guy was a true freshman, caught the game-winning touchdown against that team, and in his senior year becomes the Heisman and the most decorated wide receiver in college football history. That's not an accident, Skip. If you look at Alabama receivers, their young guys normally play early and play well. The Jerry Judys, the Devontae Smith, the Jalen Waddles, the Ruggs, all those guys, the Calvin Ridley, the Julios. This batch of wide receivers are not there yet. Not to say that they can't get there, but where they're starting from a little further behind than those guys did. I
will give you some excuse about no Mechie towards ACL in the SEC game. And then Jamison caught a big ball last night.
They had no answer. They was going to have no answer for him, Skip.
All right. So that was 4 catches so far for him. He could have made a difference. I still think Georgia was a little better. I still think there was a reason they were a 6-point favorite in the SEC championship game, and they were a 2.5-point favorite last night, which shocked a lot of people until you see the final score, 33-18, your home state team. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, give George Skip. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can say. I thought Alabama did a great job of pressuring Stetson Bennett early. They first play of the game, they brought the gas and they sacked him. And so, okay, Coach Saban's like, we need to make this young guy uncomfortable. Yeah. We don't want him to get a rhythm early. Let's try to put pressure on him. They did a great job of that. But once they broke off those 2 runs, now, Skip, that front 7 is not doing a great job of handling the run. It seemed like Georgia started to lean on them a little more. Yep. So now, Skip, I got to get my safeties involved. Well, if I'm getting my safeties involved, what does that mean? I'm isolating a true freshman and maybe a true sophomore on the edges by themselves against upper-class wide receivers from the University of Georgia.
Yes, you are. So, bottom line from last night, from what I saw of Stetson Bennett, I may be underselling him, but I think he could be a career, very valuable backup quarterback in the NFL. I do, because he's got some mobility to him, and he's got real savvy and poise and cleverness. He can see it and read it and flip it to the right place. And his arm is not bad. Yeah,
I think so. You know what, Skip? He might get an invite to camp. I can see he's a little undersized. He did win a national championship at a major program. If I'm not mistaken, Skip, I didn't hear it. So, but he was player of the game, though, right?
I assume he was. I never even heard either. But he had to be, right?
I'm assuming
he was the offensive player.
Offensive player of the game. And I think that DB, that he chased Latu down and he had a pick 6. I know he was the defensive player of the game. He was the defensive player of the game. But he might. I think it's Skip. You know what? You might be right. He'll probably get an invite to a camp somewhere.
Yeah, I could see
maybe the Falcons.
Maybe like a 7th-round pick who could stick as a backup. So. Yeah. But congratulations to him and them.
But good luck. Such an incredible game. And for all the walk-ons, I speak for all the walk-ons. That was so impressive for Stetson. And what a game just that lived up to the hype. No mercy. Well, the Cowboys are preparing to host the 49ers in their wild card matchup this Sunday, with Dallas back in the playoffs for the first time since the 2018 season. Dak Prescott has played in 3 career postseason games, and while he's only gone 1-2 in those games, he has scored 7 total touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. So, Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how much did the Cowboys trust Dak to play well on Sunday?
1 less than a jersey number. 3. Really? That's what I got for you. Yep.
What?
Sure does. Yep. Yeah, 3. What part about 3 didn't you understand?
I didn't even understand the first time you said 3. Okay.
I don't trust it.
Okay.
I don't trust the Cowboys either. So what am I supposed to do with this, Skip? What I've seen from Dak Prescott this season is up and down. I watched him play great against Atlanta, and then the next week he played terrible against Kansas City. I watched him play great against Washington. I watched him play terrible next week against Arizona. So what am I supposed to do with that? So you want me to have trust in the guy that's done this? You know what, Skip? But my jacket right quick. You know what, Sunday, you might catch him doing this. But what happened when you catch him doing that? You're going home, right?
Okay, but we're going forward if he's doing this on Sunday.
Right. But I can't trust that. Because I've seen it go up and down. I can't ride the roller coaster. I'm more the merry-go-round. Skip, I kind of like the merry-go-round. Okay. So you like the...
But you did just acknowledge that it could be Sunday this.
It could be. But I can't... Ask me how much I trust that. You can trust that. I cannot trust that. And I don't trust the Cowboys. Because y'all got bound to do at some point in time. And I think it's going to be the first game because I got you one and done. You're going to do Cowboy things on Sunday. So, look, all I'm saying to this, Skip, is that the second half of the season, I've watched them beat bad teams, and I've watched them struggle against good teams. And sometimes he even struggled against bad teams because my Broncos, they relieved Vic Fangio of his duties, but they weren't a very good football team. And they beat you down. They didn't just beat you, they beat you down. So, for me, I can't trust that. So I get it. You want to trust that, you go right ahead. That's well within your right. But for me, I gave him a 3. Now, I was tempted to give him his jersey number, but that would be like, nah, 3, give my old high school jersey number. This many.
Okay. 3, says the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe.
Yeah, and we already got 6 cases on it.
6 cases. Would you like to make it 7?
We go. Okay. Hey, we got time.
Just checking your oil here on this Tuesday morning, seeing where you are. Okay, I'll be the first to admit I have ridden the roller coaster with Dak, and I've got a queasy stomach when it comes to Dakota Rain Prescott. But I will say this: even though my quarterback number 4 has been wildly inconsistent, he has also been weirdly, consistently clutch. In the biggest moments, in the biggest games, he has come up clutch. Now, all too often, he's come up clutch in fourth quarters when the game is virtually over. Mm-hmm. That's when, as Mike McCarthy says, he goes warrior on you.
Right.
And we've seen him do that all too many times where he fought back. He fought back against your Broncos.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy just let him go back out there and see if he could get back up on that horse and ride it. And he rode it home. Unfortunately, it was already 30-0, but he scored 2 touchdowns and converted 2 2-point plays to make the final score 30-16. So he did not quit, right?
No.
He will not quit. And the weird thing about him, even though I do not disagree, it started when he went at it with Jerry. We're going back 2 football seasons ago. And after 3 sensational games against what you dismissed as garbage teams, I did not disagree. It was Giants. It was at Washington. It was Miami. And at that point, Miami, we're going to talk about them in a couple of minutes here, but they were straight garbage.
Yes.
Okay. He put up extraordinary numbers against 3 bad teams, was leading the NFL in QBR, and all of a sudden he and his new agent said, we got this. Let's declare war on Jerry, because Jerry had just said, it's imminent, we're about to sign. That meant that Jerry thought he had a kind of a verbal handshake deal.
Right.
And then you know what happened. The bottom fell out, and Jerry got mad, and they got stubborn, and they went to contractual war for the rest of the year. And everybody said, look, Dak's betting on himself. And you know what happened? The bottom fell out of his year. He was pretty horrible down the stretch. All those road games, I hate to even list them off. They make me sicker at my stomach than I get off this year. But the point was, he was betting on himself, and he was losing. They missed the playoffs. They lost to Philly at Philly in that last game of the year.
With all scored 9 points.
Yeah.
Did you score 9? Because you needed a touchdown and 2 points.
9.
Yeah. Well, you needed a touchdown and 2-point conversion to tie.
Yeah. Okay. 17-9. It was ugly and awful, and all those games on the road. Lord have mercy. At Jets, that was your all-time favorite Cowboy debacle, right? Yep. And then at Chicago and at New Orleans and at New England and at Philly. I'm getting them all out of order, but they're horrible.
Now all of a sudden you don't trust him as much as you previously thought.
I'm going to get to my bottom line in just a second. Then we fast forward into that next year, and we open up, and Dak's on a record pace for passing yards, and they're falling hopelessly behind in every game, right?
Yeah.
And they stole a game against your Atlanta Falcons, 40-39. On some weird watermelon onside kick that they recovered. And Dak was very clutch in the end of that game, but they had no business even being back in the game because they got humiliated up to that point.
Right.
Then the Browns come in and humiliate them, and then Arizona. Anyway, it just kept getting, it went from bad to worse. Right. And then he got hurt. God bless him, knocking on wood. Is he all the way back right now? I don't know. Maybe not completely, because that was career-threatening, the ankle, and it led to some kind of lat pull in camp. And so he's been battling sort of uphill against this. And then he pulled his calf at New England on a walk-off throw. That was, you'd have to give that a clutch, right?
Yeah.
And I give you this. At Kansas City this year, he was just pretty pitiful. By his standards, especially making $75 million a year, if you have the ball 12 times against that defense and you manage 3 field goals, it's just, obviously, it's not good enough.
Right.
Okay, now I look back at body of playoff work, and you can laugh at body and say, well, 3 games does not a body make. Okay, well, I love what he's done in the 3 playoff games, because for those who get QBR scale 0 to 100, his average QBR in these 3 games is 77. That means that if you could sustain that for a year this year, you would have won the NFL QBR.
So let that just sink in for a second. His average in those 3 starts is 77. The way Aaron Rodgers, the way Joe Burrow, the way Tom Brady, they didn't even break 70. So you think that
overall for the 17 games.
So do you actually think that Dak Prescott in those 3 games played better than any one of those 3 guys did this season? I do not believe that.
Well, for 3 games, yes, I do.
Nope.
Well, I just see it. I can demonstrate it, because against Aaron Rodgers, he's a raw rookie. This is his first playoff game, and it was at home, and they had the bye. You know, they were the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I know.
And the defense didn't show up early, and Aaron Rodgers did show up.
Dak didn't show up early either. That's why you was behind 21-3.
21-3. And here came Dak Prescott.
Oh, my God.
And if we could see what started happening Let's go Dez Bryant, 40 yards for a touchdown, if we could see this.
They blew the coverage.
Okay, 40 yards. And I said, well, wait a second, maybe this isn't over. That's a sweet throw.
That was a great throw. That was a great throw.
We remember you.
That was a great route by Dez.
The next throw to, guess who? Jason Witten. Remember him? That cut it to 28-20. And then he goes to Dez again for 7 yards. And all of a sudden it's tied at 28-all. Would you believe it? And then here we go against Seattle. That's the one to Gallup. I'm showing you all of his best playoff. That was, remember, 3rd and 13 from the 17. He goes 16 yards to the 1, then took it home on a sneak. And then here's at Rams in the 3rd playoff game. That's Amari. That's a touchdown. That got him back in that game. He just kept making playoff games all through those games. Aaron Rodgers at home. Obviously, it got to 31-all. It took 2 hand-of-God intergalactic field goals by Mason Crossbar of 56 yards and 51, and I thought neither one was going to make it off his foot because they looked like it was sliced and then hooked. And I don't know what happened. The hand of God came in and said, I love you, Aaron, and he pushed the ball through the upright. I don't know what happened. But it took that to stop Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott as rookies at home in a playoff game. And then Seattle, he just flat out outplayed Russell Wilson. I don't care. The QBR says it. You could just say, and they did it with arm and legs. But that quarterback draw that he ran, is actually 3rd and 14 at the 17. That's the play of the game because that puts them ahead 24-12, and that ended up being 24-14, and it wound up 24-22. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the point was he beat Russell Wilson. That's on his resume. And then he outplayed Jared Goff, but the Cowboy defense didn't show up. And your little man, C.J. Anderson, he's not that little, actually, just ran them off the field.
I'm noticing when you lose playoff games, it's always the Cowboys' defense not showing up. I'm just trying to figure out, why did you find yourself behind in that situation to begin with? You do realize, like, when the other team score, they kick the ball off back to you. So Dak Prescott had an opportunity to possess the football. So what did he do with it?
Okay. Well, he did not turn it over. He did have one interception in the Green Bay game.
Yeah.
And it's because Dez went the wrong way on a screen.
Ain't no Dez. See, there you go blaming him.
I don't know what he was doing. It was just like a miscommunication, and he just sort of flipped it to the flank.
Well, how about you trust him? You gave me all those stats. How much do
9. I got a 9. Scale of 1 to 10, I got a 9.
Got your mind.
Dallas is going to win this game, and he is going to be the star of this game because he's going to have to be the star of this game. Yes.
No.
Yes.
And you better hope Trent Williams doesn't play. If Trent Williams play, whoever's on that right side get neutralized.
Okay.
So I don't care if Micah, I don't care if it's Randy Gregory, don't see Trent. T-Dub got it locked down.
As great as Trent is, he hadn't seen anything like Micah Parsons, 11 from heaven. He hadn't seen any kind of burst like this in his
stall him out. Go choke him out, Skip.
Is he?
Don't do that.
Yeah, maybe he's just too big and too strong to deal with this kind of suddenness. It is sudden.
I can see Trent on that left side.
Yeah.
This ain't what you want.
That's called holding.
You can't have him by the throat. Yeah. This ain't what you want, son.
That's a hold. Thank you. We'll take 15.
He going to go to the other side.
We'll take our 15 yards and go 1st and 10.
Okay. Just like Big J.O. when I played with Jonathan Ogden. Yep. Hey, if y'all try to get pressure on the quarterback, go to the other side because ain't nothing happening over here.
Okay. I got it. But as much respect as I have for San Francisco, it's still a quarterback's game, especially at this level.
And your quarterback going to find himself on the ground.
Okay. Which quarterback do you trust more? Dak Prescott or Jimmy G?
That front four for the 49ers will have Dak on his back.
Jimmy G. You know what the G stands for? Gag.
Greatness.
Gag.
Jimmy
Gag.
Jimmy Greatness.
Jimmy Gag. You know it and I know it.
Jimmy Greatness.
When you need him the most, he will throw it to the wrong team.
Did you see what he did Sunday?
I did.
Okay,
you saw it to the wrong team right on schedule.
You saw that
right to the wrong team. He threw one up for grabs. It gets skipped up in the air.
The man was down 17.
Yep.
The man was down 14. The man was down 7 with 2.5 to go.
Yep.
Bing, 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 bing. Tub.
He's even got a bad thumb that he's trying to figure out.
And going to do all that.
Yep.
Yep.
Do you realize you've got 6 cases bet on Jimmy Gag?
I got 6 cases bet with Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
In that front fold.
Huh?
Yep.
Well, who knows Kyle Shanahan better than Dan Quinn? Because once upon a time, Dan hired Kyle to be his offensive coordinator, and they got to a Super Bowl together. And then, speaking of gagging, Kyle kind of gagged.
No, that defense, we're up 28-3. If I give you a 28-3 lead, you got to hold that.
Yeah.
You got to hold that. So Kyle knows exactly what Dan Quinn. You better not run that cover 3, Robert. If you run it if you want to, I'm going to run this ball down you.
So whose fault was it? You were irate the next day about you just got to run the football.
You should have run the football.
Okay, well, Kyle Shanahan was calling the plays.
Whoa. What about defense? So
interesting.
What? I mean, you let Tom Brady throw for 400 yards in the second half.
He's the GOAT.
I don't care.
He's done it to everybody.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Mm-mm. What did he throw for? In the fourth quarter and overtime, he threw for, what was it, 220 yards?
He didn't do it to Nicky Foles.
Ridiculous.
He didn't do it to Nicky Foles.
Oh, he only threw for a playoff record 505 against
don't matter.
Nicky Foles.
What about Eli?
What about
He
Eli?
ever throw for 300 yards against Eli?
No, but he pulled off the game-winning drive. It should have been.
How you have a game-winning drive if you lose?
The score was 14-10, Patriots with 2 minutes left. That's what you call a game-winning drive.
That ain't no game-winning. No.
70 yards, 10 plays, game-winning drive. Game over.
Hold on.
Oh, wait, Bill Belichick's the genius defensive coordinator, right?
I thought you had to win the game in order to have a game-winning drive.
Well, how could Belichick let Eli go 75 yards for a touchdown? They needed a touchdown, not a field goal.
You mean to tell me Tom Brady can only score 14 points to go? What goal scores 14 points?
Would 14 have held up if he had a semblance of a defense? Yes, it would have.
He should have Coach Belichick said, I know Tom going to give me my normal, going to give me my 37.
No, did he?
That's what he been giving me all year.
Yeah.
You had just got 35 against him 3 weeks earlier. Remember, y'all played him the last game of the season in the Meadowlands, and you put up 35. So Coach Belichick said, I know Tommy got 35 for me.
He had 14 with 2 minutes left, and the Giants
14?
had 10. And at that point, nobody had any respect for Eli Manning. Nobody did. Really?
You got respect
Eli
for him now,
Manning?
don't you?
Are you kidding me?
Eli made a name for himself by Tom Brady.
You're about to have a whole lot of respect for Dakota Rain Prescott, because that Rain is going to be spelled R-E-I-G-N on Sunday.
Eli owned Tom Brady.
R-E-I-G-N Rain on you. Or it might be R-A-I-N on you. He might just rain on you indoors.
Eli Manning, somebody that you have talking about, he led the league in interception 3 times.
He did.
How he beat the GOAT?
Well, he beat Belichick.
No, he beat the GOAT. No. See, anytime Tom Brady beats the opposing quarterback, you said Tom Brady beat Aaron Rodgers last week.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
I've
last
given you
year.
this for the whole time we've been on this show. Tom Brady had one off Super Bowl game, and it was the second Eli game. He was not great in that game, and they still had a chance. And he throws it to Wes Welker, and Wes Welker drops it.
Now Wes Welker dropped the ball. Now you put it on Wes.
Well, it wasn't Brady's best throw, but is it catchable? Shannon Sharpe catches that ball.
You know Wes Welker's the receiver coach in San Francisco.
He is? Okay.
He is.
So I think Brady to this day would think Wes should have caught that ball.
I'm thinking Debo and Ayuk and Jennings and Kittle.
Really good. I agree. Feast. Okay, maybe they will, but so will my quarterback, because CD and Amari and Lil said, feast.
Man, when the last time?
Feast. Tony Pollard, feast.
When the last time you heard somebody mention CD Lamb? I heard him mention Cedric Wilson and Amari. When the last time you heard somebody mention CD?
CD Lamb. Are you watching? I think he does. I'm pretty sure he does. Are you watching?
I just want the man to.
Are you watching?
I just want to hear his name.
Just got called
I just want to hear his name.
Yep.
You been hyping him up.
CD Lamb.
CDLs pile up.
Time to rise and shine. By the way, he's now returning punts because he's a game breaker, and he just might break one on Sunday.
You know what? I might go get my CDL license.
Last time Dallas saw San Francisco, CD scored a touchdown on a kickoff. It was a kickoff return. It was
onside.
Well, I'll take it.
You make it seem like they kicked the ball deep. He caught it on the bounce and they ran past him. Okay.
So it was 46 yards. I'll take it.
All right.
He's got that taste of that. Yeah.
Y'all going down.
Yep. I got it. Scale of 1 to 10 on my trust. You know what? I would go to a 10, but that's
why not? Go on to a 10. That's your team.
I'll do a 10. Okay. I do trust him because they're going to win this game. They're a 3-point favorite at home. They will win it. You want to go 7 cases?
No, I'll be on a 10 come Monday.
Okay.
Ooh, Skip. Get you in trouble.
7 cases going once, going twice.
We got Wednesday, we got Thursday, we got Friday.
All right, somebody's starting.
Ain't no scared. No, I already.
Wednesday, Thursday,
I put 5 cases. The moment I said 49ers, I had walked in here. I got 5 cases. Yeah, I already.
It could have been the Eagles, and you would have had 5 cases.
No, I would not have. No, I would not have.
Monday is going to be so good around here. I cannot wait. Oh, by the way, we should talk MVP because I know you guys have some different opinions here. Aaron Rodgers, right now, he is the heavy favorite to win his 4th MVP award. But Bruce Arians sees it differently. The Bucs head coach rattled off Tom Brady's accomplishments this year to the media yesterday, saying, quote, "I think if he doesn't get it, it's a travesty. Most completions ever, 5,000 yards, touchdowns, the whole 9 yards. To me, it's not even a close race." So, Shannon, would you go so far as to say it'd be a travesty if Rodgers doesn't win it?
I would be shocked if he doesn't win. And I believe that he should win. But I also believe I would like to play for Bruce Arians because I know he got my back through thick and thin. No matter what, B.A. gonna ride with you. And he should ride with his quarterback. And Tom has had an unbelievable season, Skip. It's not because somebody has to win the award. And because someone wins the award, that doesn't mean the other participants didn't play well. I just believe that what Aaron Rodgers has done with less than what Tom Brady's had, I believe Tom Brady's offensive line is better. I believe his receiving core as a whole is better. I don't believe he has one receiver that's better than Davante Adams. But if you add up the totality of his receiving core, I believe Tampa's is better than Green Bay's. And if you look at what Tom has done, the 37-4, the number 1 seed, better completion percentage, better yards per attempt, the touchdown to interception ratio is just ridiculous. I mean, I still don't know how a man can throw this many touchdowns with so few interceptions. 37-4 again. So for me, Skip, look, Tom Brady's had a phenomenal season. But I believe if Aaron Rodgers, and the young man, he's not a young man, but I think he works right for Pro Football Weekly or someone, but he's based out of Chicago.
He's not young, but go ahead. Yes.
What he voiced, I'm not so sure there are other voters that feel the exact same way that he does. The question is that when it comes time for them to fill out that ballot, does that seep in? And they say, you know what? Hub was right. He is a jerk. That Brady.
Okay.
That's the question that they're going to have to ask themselves. But I believe with what Aaron Rodgers has done and the totality and the body of work in which he's compiled, I believe he should win the MVP, and I'm going to be shocked if he doesn't.
Okay. So I would like to applaud Bruce Arians for not only having his quarterbacks back, but saying what should have been said. This race shouldn't even be close. That's what you keep saying about Aaron Rodgers. I keep saying it about Thomas, Edward, Patrick, Brady, Jr. The bottom line is he did more with less than Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers did because they had it all over Brady and the Bucs all year long. Do you want me to start reading off all the rankings here? I'd love to. So your favorite website, your Bible, Pro Football Focus, graded for the whole year, Brady number 1 by far. Aaron graded out 4th. That's just grading every game, every throw. They graded, in the end, over 17 games, receiving cores. Green Bay's was ranked 4th overall, and Tampa's was ranked 10th overall. But Davante was ranked number 1 overall and should be with a bullet. Like he should be running away with that.
So look, if you don't mind me asking, Skip, if you got the number 1 overall quarterback, how can you have the number 1 overall quarterback and your wide receiving core not be? You got to pull them up, right?
Yeah. Well, he lifted a lot of mediocrity and a lot of missed games because look at all the games. AB was gone for 10 games. Gronk was gone for 5 games. Obviously, Godwin missed the last 3 games. Scotty Miller, who was Brady's secret weapon last year, missed basically the whole year. He ended up catching 5 balls for 38 yards. Last year, he caught 33 balls for 501 yards and 3 big touchdowns, as you recall, that were sneak attacks or the touchdowns at the end of halves, right? One in Oakland, then obviously one in Green Bay in the championship game. So he wasn't there all year long. So now let's continue on. Davante ranked number 1. Gronk is 30th. I'll give you that. But in wide receivers, Mike Evans is now the highest graded Tampa wide receiver at 62, 62nd to 1. 62nd to 1?
You do realize that they had the number 1 receiving core coming into the season.
Well, again, it's what happened at the end of the season, not what.
So I'm just trying to.
It's not a prediction. It's an outcome.
So what happened? So what happened? So one team was ranked in the middle of the pack, like 15th or 16th. That elevated to 4th. One team was number 1 and somehow went down to the middle of the pack. So I'm trying to figure out if your quarterback is what you said he is, how does the receiver core drop off after they've been ranked so high?
Because Davante helped make Aaron Rodgers. That's what you're missing.
I did see Davante against Kansas City, and Jordan Love was his quarterback. He didn't look like Davante Adams to me.
Had Jordan Love ever started a game?
I'm just saying. So don't say that Devontae made Aaron.
Let's look at rushing attack, shall we? Green Bay is graded by Pro Football Focus second best in the whole league. Second best. Tampa's was 13th. How about just running backs? How were they graded? A.J. Dillon wound up the year graded number 2 overall, and Aaron Jones, I love Aaron Jones, was graded 6th overall. Leonard Fournette, who, by the way, got cut by Jacksonville, so he's a cast-off. He ranked 24th this year in overall grade. Okay, how about defense? Green Bay ended the year graded 3rd by Pro Football Focus in defense. 3rd. Tampa was 10th. Not bad, but not 3rd. So, look, Aaron had way more help than Tom Brady had.
Let me tell you why the defense was ranked 3rd and the other was 10th. Because one guy didn't put his defense on a short field. The other one guy didn't turn the ball over 15 times. One guy only turned the ball over 4 times. So when you ask your defense to defend short fields, when you giving up pick sixes, that's what happens. Aaron Rodgers turned the ball over 4 times in 17 games. Your guy turned it over 15 times in 17 games.
When your coach is asking you to be the whole show, to throw it like nobody's ever thrown it, to lead the league in attempts and completions.
Skip, they tried to give him the MVP. You heard, what did everybody say? Tom Brady's going to have his best statistical season this season. So when you do that, Tom Brady's going to win the MVP. He's not getting the MVP if you have a balanced attack. So they had to let him throw the ball 700 times. They had to in order, but even though he did that, you look at the numbers. When you put true value, it's not even close. Aaron Rodgers.
Let's look at all the clutch throws that Tom Brady made just this year as he goaded my Cowboys on opening Thursday night. Can we see the throw? This is a huge throw with 24 seconds left in the game to the aforementioned Chris Godwin, no longer there for the playoffs thanks to a torn ACL. That's a throw on little Jordan Lewis that won the game. It's another GOAT throw, a little back shoulder, right on time and right on target. That won the game. Then here he goes again. Guess who? Brashad Perriman? I didn't know he's on the roster. Would you believe Perriman? This is his 8th stop in the NFL. Yeah. His 8th stop, and then here he goes again against the Jets. This is virtually impossible. This is a 93-yard game-winning drive. Cyril Grayson, he's on his 4th team. Undrafted out of LSU where he ran track. Cyril Grayson, and he pulls his hamstring in the season ender against Carolina early in the game and didn't register in stats. So they're even down Cyril Grayson right now. And then could I show another clutch throw, because this is going to be Philadelphia at Tampa. Well, remember, Tampa went to Philadelphia and won the game 28-22 thanks to this clutch throw, a rollout throw to AB. Can we see that one more time, please? He's on the run and throws it for 27 yards to AB. On the run at 44 years of age, that iced it because Jalen Hurts had brought them back with 2 rushing touchdowns. Here it is again. Look at him roll right. Does that look like 44 to you? And hit AB right between the 8 and the 1. What? That iced the game. That allowed them to kill the clock on 3rd and 7. That was 3rd and 7.
If I were to do Aaron Rodgers throws, we'd run out of time. We wouldn't have no more segments to talk about anything other than clutch throws.
You haven't done any all year. I don't know why.
Don't do that, Skip. Skip. You always talk about, that throw, why does he have to be so cavalier with the ball? You know how he does it. You know how he... I know you get upset when he says he owned the Bears and he says things. And Skip, I get it.
Well, you get upset sometimes, right?
No, I just get upset about him lying. I don't care about him owning the Bears.
He was the liar. He was immunized, so he said, right? Okay.
Yeah, I just get upset about it.
All right.
I don't care about the other stuff.
And yet, Tom Brady lost the MVP race the night against New Orleans when he had his worst game. By the way, Aaron also had his worst game against New Orleans.
But his worst game was worse than our worst game, if there's such a thing as worse.
It was not.
Yes, it was.
You're dead wrong about that, because Tom Brady's QBR against the Saints, bad as it was a 20. Aaron's was a 15.
But here's
a 15? That was the worst of that whole NFL weekend.
Remember what we said.
2 interceptions for Aaron versus 1 for Tom against New Orleans.
But here's the thing. That game wasn't nationally televised. We saw, remember, when you see things.
I agree.
You saw that Sunday night.
And what did you see? What did you see? You saw Tom run all the way toward the opposing sideline. Dennis Allen was the interim coach, but also, as you know, the defensive coordinator. Yeah. And he yells at him, "Go F yourself."
Yeah.
On national
TV. Beneath Tom Brady.
But yet the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe came in here the next day and reminded me, I think he was just upset because Chris Godwin had taken a literal low blow, right?
Yeah.
He was mad at Dennis Allen because Dennis's defense defense had knocked out his guy,
right,
the guy who could maybe help get him.
Fournette too.
Right? Well, they had, okay? And he was furious over it, and he lost it for a second, and he also lost the MVP. And then he goes over and throws a tablet like a little child, threw a little tantrum. A tablet tantrum. I give you that. And he lost the MVP because the Brady haters were just waiting for an opening. They needed one little excuse.
And then he dry snitched on the NFL. Talking about they told me if I do it again, they were going to find me. No, don't do that, Skip. Stop dry snitching. You and him got something in common. You be dry snitching on me all the time.
I have never dry snitched on you one time except to start the show today. You are from Georgia. Okay, yeah. So the point is that there's Brady hate that turns into just Brady burnout, and people just get sick and tired. Just go away and leave us alone. We've heard about you way too much. That's what's happening right here, right now.
Skip, it's not like Aaron Rodgers had won the MVP 3 times, and he just won it last year.
Yeah.
Skip, look, I don't think there's Brady hate. I think more people in the media, I think more fans like Tom Brady than like Aaron Rodgers. I guarantee you, if you take a poll, I guarantee you, media members, if you ask them, and you know you're supposed to be about, I think they're more of them like Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a more likable guy. For whatever reason, Skip, he's a more likable guy than Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers, in my estimation, and I used to have a vote, Aaron Rodgers is the MVP of the league this year.
So Bruce Arians points out, he says, most completions ever, set the completion. He's talking about what Tom did this year. Most completions ever, 5,000 yards, the only quarterback this year to go over 5,000.
No, he didn't. Justin Herbert went over 5,000.
Did he?
He got 5,014.
I thought Tom was the only one.
No,
okay, maybe I jumped to that conclusion before that last night game. Okay, but he does go on to say touchdowns. He obviously led the league in touchdowns. And he says, to me, it's not even a close race. And I do agree because you look at what Brady has done. It's just, I don't have time to go through all the records this year.
Skip,
right?
Skip, that's like saying, oh, he scored the most points when you shoot the most shots. That should be a natural correlation. I guarantee you, the year Wilt scored the most points, he shot the most shots. I guarantee you, the year that Michael Jordan scored the most points, he shot the most time. Nope. That's just the natural correlation.
Nope. Wilt lost a lot of games. Jordan didn't lose a lot of games.
He lost a lot of championships. He won some games.
Okay, but he lost a lot of big games. He did. He got owned by Bill Russell too many times. But the point is, if I look at overall record, Aaron's team went 13-4, and Tom's team went 13-4. 13-4.
Who went number one seed?
You act like Brady's team missed the playoffs. If they had missed the playoffs, you would have a case.
Who is the number one seed? Who did more with less? Aaron bleeping Rodgers.
No,
playing without his 2 best offensive linemen.
No.
Playing without his 2 best defensive players. He lose Tanyan, his tight end. Tell me the game in which Brady played without his top 3 offensive linemen, his top 3 receivers, top 2 offensive linemen, and top 2 defensive players. If you point me that game out in which he did that and they won on the road, I say, okay, he got my vote.
Show me one game this year that Tom Brady had Devontae Adams as his number 1 option. Show me one, because there's none.
You do realize that before Tom Brady got there, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin was rated number 1, and Mike Evans was number 5 receiver in the NFL.
And the quarterback was Jameis Winston, who put up huge numbers, except for that one key number, which was 7 and 9.
You do realize that Jameis threw for 5,200 yards in that same offense.
I just said it, okay?
Oh, so really?
How close is 13-4 to 7 and 9?
So let me ask you a question. 37-4? I mean, Skip, what am I supposed to do with that? Okay, he was 48-5 last year. So 48 and 37, that's 85. That man is, you mean to tell me that man got 85 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in 2 years? What am I supposed to do with that?
Well, here's what I want to know what I'm supposed to do with is Tom Brady led the league by averaging 315 yards passing a game. Aaron ranked 11th in yards passing per game, 256 yards, because he's turned into a dink and dunk artist.
Skip.
It's like Devontae runs a little underneath option. It's like he's Edelman or Amendola.
First of all,
here, run a little option route and I'll flip it to you.
Hold on, time out. Nobody runs more bubble screens. Nobody runs more jailbreak screens. Nobody runs more screen plays than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their screen game, those bubble screens are an extension of their run game. So if Aaron Rodgers is dinking and dunking, how does he average more yards per attempt than Tom Brady?
Run after catch.
No, it's yards per attempt. So remember last year, my guy thought he has more air distance. I ain't heard that this year. What happened?
I didn't even check on that, but I'm sure it's near the top, if not at the top.
Skip.
He's throwing to Brashard Perriman and Cyril Grayson.
Hold on. Is Brashard Perriman a former first-round pick? Am I correct?
Yeah, he's on his 8th stop in the NFL.
Hold on, ask you a question.
So 7 other times teams said no to Perriman.
Was Mike Evans a first-round pick?
Sure.
Was Devontae a first-round pick?
No.
What receiver that he's throwing to was the first? He got one first-round pick on his own.
It doesn't matter where your
Mercedes.
Pick.
Mercedes
it matters on your productivity.
And Aaron Rodgers had the most productive season.
Oh, he did not.
MVP.
Huh. Interesting. Well, he had the 4th best receiving core in the league. I guess you should put up those numbers. Really?
Imagine what it would have been if he didn't have Aaron Rodgers, what that receiving core would have been.
Huh.
So let me ask you a question. All to real talk. Do you believe Devontae Adams is the same receiver if Aaron Rodgers isn't his quarterback?
Yeah, I think he's really good. I think he would make whoever he played for, whoever he caught for, he would make them way better.
You believe that?
I watch him, and I just say he is uncoverable.
Well, I was watching him, too. It was funny that I was watching him against Kansas City, and I didn't see that.
Really?
I was like, well, damn. I thought that was Devontae
Did you
Adams.
see Kansas City all over the quarterback that day? I did.
No. No.
So here's the bottom line to this. Bruce Arians is planting seeds because he knows what's about to happen. He knows that all the inclinations are, all the signs point to Aaron Rodgers winning in a landslide.
Oh, so now he want to get Tom Brady upset so he can take it out on people in the playoffs.
He's about to take it out on you. And I hope he loses MVP because he knows in his heart of hearts that it will be a travesty if he loses MVP. But he will just channel all that rage into anti-Shannon. Watch this, Shannon Sharpe, and I just hope against hope that it winds up Brady at Rodgers for all the marbles. Because if it does, you are so done. Because he's going to make it a travesty for Aaron Rodgers.
Let's make it 5 cases. You're going to lose the MVP and you're going to lose the playoff game if you go to Lambeau.
Okay. Well, let's wait until we get there, shall we?
Can we get 2 cases on the MVP?
No, heck no.
Why not?
Are you kidding me?
Why?
It's a runaway.
You won't even. I had an opportunity to give me some cases with Matt Ryan. You insider, I ain't betting.
I told you, it's a done deal. He is going to win the MVP, and it will be a travesty. That's also a done deal.
It ain't going to be no travesty.
Yes, it will. Yep, it will.
You make it seem like
you are in trouble because that's all he needed. He needed 2 things to happen. Antonio Brown became the unsung MVP of this year because he galvanized, he reunited the Bucs. It's all going to be, watch this, AB. You dare to try to trash our quarterback, we're going to show you are not needed here. That's what's about to happen.
Well, Green Bay ain't going to care nothing about that. Green Bay don't care nothing about no AB.
Well, they're about to care.
Yeah.
It'll be just like last year.
When a Tom Brady is mad and fueled by something, Shannon always gives him something to play for. We'll see how it plays out.
AR is going to be upset, too.
No mercy. Well, in a shocker yesterday, the Dolphins announced they are parting ways with Brian Flores after 3 seasons with the team. The head coach had a record of 24-25 in his tenure with Miami, never making the playoffs. And in a statement, owner Stephen Ross said, quote, after evaluating where we are as an organization and what we need going forward to improve, I determined that key dynamics of our football organization weren't functioning at a level I want to be. Shannon, does this make any sense to you?
Well, Stephen Ross don't realize he's the problem. Because you put people in position, Skip, and then when they try to do something, you overrule them. Now, it's being reported that Brian Flores wanted Justin Herbert. Stephen Ross wanted Tua. Guess what who Justin Herbert plays for? Guess who Tua plays for? It was also that he wanted Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
And Stephen Ross for whatever reason. Skip, that's the thing. I just think the owners, I get it. We going to invest $100 million, $200 million in a player. I need to run that by you. But if you're telling me you want me to be in charge, let me do it. Skip, let's just say for the sake of argument, Brian Flores says, I want Tua. Stephen Ross says, no, I think Justin Herbert. But you are the head coach. You're the football guy. I'm going to let you do it. Okay, I get it. We mean to tell me we could act because we sit in 5. Tua went and then Herbert went right after him. I get that. But the mere fact that, and I thought, Skip, the guy started 1-7. Brian B. Flores started 1-7.
Yep.
Went 7 straight, beat the Patriots. Went 10-6 last year.
They started the year beating the Patriots, and they lost 7.
Lose 7, then come back, Win again. Win 7 straight. No team had ever done that in NFL history in a calendar season.
So they finished winning 8 of 9 to finish 9 and 8. Okay?
There's a reason why the Dolphins have only made the playoffs once since Stephen Ross has become the majority owner in 2009. The problem is he's the problem. He doesn't see it. Skip, when you have that kind of money, you used to, he's really building. You know what? I don't like that. I'm going to get off that building. It's not making me the amount of money that I think. You can get off it. You keep doing this with coaches, and you'll be exactly where you are. Now, I don't know if he knows this, but it's not like Buffalo is coming back. Buffalo has settled in on their quarterback. The Patriots, no matter what you think of Mac Jones, have settled on their quarterback.
Yep.
And for all indication, Coach Belichick's not going anywhere. I believe Sean McDermott is not going anywhere either.
Yep.
So what are you going to do, Stephen Ross? Now, I know you think that Coach Belichick says, you know what, if you offer me some money, I'll come down there, or maybe you can get Andy Reid, but that's not happening. John Harbaugh is unavailable also. You had a very good coach, and you didn't realize it. Now, Skip, I believe in this hiring cycle, Brian Flores is going to get another job, which is a rarity.
It would be.
For a minority.
I agree.
But I do believe he's going to get another opportunity to coach this time around because I believe he's that kind of quality coach and his players vouch for him. But Stephen Ross just doesn't get it. Everybody want to be Jerry Jones. Everybody want to be the great late Al Davis, Skip. And it doesn't work like that.
So my bottom line takeaway is if you turned right around and announced that you had hired Jim Harbaugh from the University of Michigan, I'd say, well, okay, I'll give you that because Jim Harbaugh was really good coaching pro football.
Right.
But obviously, Stephen Ross went to Michigan also. He's a big booster. He's heavily involved with the school, and he immediately shot that down. And it basically is saying, I'm not going to rob Peter to pay Paul because he's my quarterback. I mean, my coach at my school.
And you know what Jim Harbaugh's going to want.
Yeah.
He's going to want total control.
Total control. Okay, so all I know for sure is that Brian Flores beat his mentor, Bill Belichick, 4 times in 6 tries while he was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. He was 4-2 against Belichick. Man, it's hard to find that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Whew. I say good luck to ever finding that again because you may have a hard time finding anybody who can win 4 of the first 6 against Belichick.
And I believe of all the disciples, he might have been the best one. Of the Bill O'Brien, and I love Charlie Weiss, and I love Romeo. I love all those guys. Josh McDaniels. Brian Flores might be the best one.
Okay. So it sounds like it boiled down to the fact that the owner started to maybe fall in love with Tua because he's such a likable kid to me. He's just such a good kid.
Man, I'm trying to win football games.
I got it.
You get it.
I'm not a fan. You are. I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of him off the field, but not on the field.
Right.
And I don't know where Chris Greer, the still GM, he survived this purge, right? I don't know where he stands on Tua. He must be in Tua's camp.
Right.
Because, listen, Brian Flores is a tough guy. He is stubborn, you can say to a fault, but I think when you're the head coach, you can't be stubborn to a fault. You just better be stubborn.
Right.
You better be my way or the highway. And he tried to instill and install that concept in Miami, and the owner wouldn't allow it because in the end, he's saying, wait a second, Deshaun Watson is available. I don't care what he did off the field, even though it's indefensible what happened, obviously. But he's just saying, if you want me to win football games, let's go get him.
Correct.
And we'll figure this out.
Right.
And you can't condemn Ross for saying, I just don't know. That what he did with all those accusations, I just don't know if I can work around that. And so he finally just said flat out no, and he said yesterday in his media session, no to Deshaun Watson. Well, I guess that was a deal breaker because Flores he won't buy into Tua, so he made it known internally, even though he said publicly, he's our quarterback. But I think internally he just made it clear, I just don't believe in him.
Right.
I don't buy it.
Right.
And they're like, well, then you're going to have to go.
Skip, and the thing is, if I see, that's the thing, coaches and players see things from a player every single day that we're not privy to the outside world. So it's kind of like Mike Zimmer. He lost his job. They asked him, if Kirk Cousins can't go, do you want to see Kellen Mond?
Yeah.
He said, no. They was like, why not? I see him every day.
Okay.
I can't win with that.
No.
So the coach knows, Skip. It's like, yeah, Tua is not. I can only go so far with him. Everything has to be perfect. I can't get off script. Yep. If it's not dialed up perfectly on here, Skip, we're not winning. It's so hard to win like that when everything has to be perfect. We got to have to play outstanding defense, and we need to run the football because if we turn it over once, we're probably going to lose because we can't make that up. I
agree. So what was Mr. Ross's line? I think an organization can only function if it's collaborative. Aha. So that means the owner gets his little share of input and the GM gets his input, and they want all the assistants to have their, the coordinators to have their input.
Hell no.
Okay, well, that's what
because my job is on the line, Skip.
No, I got it. I'm with you on this. Do you think Bill Belichick ever collaborated with anybody? No. Skip,
how much do you think Clark Hunt is down there and Andy Reid's there saying, Andy, I think we ought to do it like this? Steve Bisciotti has some, obviously Steve, but basically it's DeCosta, Ozzie, and John Harbaugh.
Okay, but here's the difference between Andy Reid and Brian Flores. Andy just has sort of a natural charm about him. He's just a good guy to be around, and he's entertaining in his own way. Reid. And so he can play politics better than Brian can because he can go schmooze with the GM and make the GM feel like Brett Veach that he's involved in this.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. Clark Hunt has been around this for an extremely long period of time.
Because I knew him when he was a little kid.
His dad.
Yep.
So, Skip, a lot of times they get it. When you own a business and you come in and you buy, you don't understand that this is how this works. I get it, in a business, you run things by the CEO.
Yep.
You know, the VP, Skip, ain't making no decision without running it by the CEO. That's not necessarily how it works in football. Coach Belichick gonna do it. Coach Belichick just signing checks. Mr. Crowd looking at his bank account like, well, damn, where did $100 million go? Where did $70 million go? I mean, Skip, all need the Dutchess.
I know, but he finally put him on notice. Pass off. He said, okay, now show me.
Exactly.
We spent all the money. Show me some results. And he did.
He did.
He went 10-7.
He got to the playoffs. He could possibly win. We'll see. But, Skip, I just think Brian Flores earned the right. I understand that he didn't make the playoffs. But this team, I believe this team is trending up. They have a very good, outstanding young defense. The quarterback situation, Skip, you can't play defense well enough. If that guy that's throwing the ball, that touches the ball on average 65 to 70 times a game, your defense can't overcome his play. That's just the way it is. Now, you know, when you started covering, when I played, you had an outstanding defense. You could run the ball. You could cover him up. You got a bad corner, Skip. I play coverage. I can cover him up. If I got a bad offensive lineman, I can slide protection. I can chip. How do I protect my quarterback, Skip? Because he's got to throw the ball at some point in time. He just can't hand it off 60 times a game like in the 30s and 40s.
I agree.
He's got to throw it.
Okay. So in the end, would I hire Brian Flores today to be my head coach? I would.
I wouldn't be disappointed if he showed up in Denver.
Really? Okay.
I would not. I absolutely would not.
But your former quarterback's going to hand the keys to the kingdom to him and say, go.
Well, I think Joe Ellis and I forget the general, Patton. George Patton. There could possibly be new ownership that's going on, Skip situation. But I'm just going to hold off. I ain't going to do anything. You know, I got to see what's going to go on with Aaron Rodgers. Because I might can swing a package deal, you know, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae. I give up 3 first-rounders, ship a couple of those receivers out for Aaron Rodgers and Devontae.
Really?
Yeah. Really?
Well, after Brady beats him once again at Lambeau in an NFC Championship
he ain't gonna want to leave.
Aaron's going to be like, you don't want me anymore? No, we don't want you anymore.
Here's the thing, though.
You're out.
Well, I might want that to happen because if he wins, he ain't going anywhere. You're not winning an MVP at a Super Bowl and dipping, Skip.
No. That's a good point. Oh, how different the situation is a year into this thing. No mercy. Sunday on Fox, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles look to dethrone the reigning champs as they take on the GOAT, Tom Brady and the Bucs. It all kicks off at 1 Eastern with pregame coverage starting at 11 a.m. only on Fox, all part of Super Wild Card Weekend. The Bucs were wrapping up the regular season on Sunday. Their former receiver, Antonio Brown, was apparently celebrating the release of his new song at a New York City club. A source said, quote, he was a fun, happy guy. He was dancing, taking pictures nonstop, engaging with everyone. And a promoter working with Brown on the project added, quote, we plan on disrupting the entire entertainment industry. disrupting everything. Shannon, what does this tell you about AB's future?
Skip, before I answer this question, who do I need to call to get the Cowboys and 49ers back on Fox? How they give our game away? That's our game. You know that.
I agree.
I like Tom and the Eagles, but I think I like the other game better.
We'll get the next one, which will be even bigger. We'll get Dallas at Tampa. Okay, that's what we're going to get.
Okay. Well, that'll be a good trade-off. Yeah. But unfortunately, Dallas ain't going to be there. But anyway, Skip, this is what, look, I ain't got no problem with AB doing this. I mean, he got some free time on his hand. Hell, he might as well feel it doing something productive. As you can see what he's doing. He's going to market himself as a disruptor, a guy that the man couldn't control. So y'all see this, and there are going to be people that like it. Yeah, AB, yeah, you're right. Man can't hold AB down. AB going to do AB.
Yep.
I get it. But at the end of the day, so what happens when you have studio time? You're not just going to show up. You already paid for it. What happens you collaborate with somebody? You just going to blow them off? Skip, look, I hope whatever venture that AB chooses, I hope he's successful at it. I really do. I love to see young men, young black men, women doing positive things, getting bread. What upsets me is that when they get an opportunity to get bread, they making bread and they mess it up. That's the problem that I got with AB. And then they accept no responsibility and they shift the onus. It's always someone else's fault that something bad is happening in my life. And they refuse to acknowledge it's you that's causing these issues. So I don't have a problem. AB has time on his hand. He wants to do studio. I just saw on social media, he took a picture with Kanye. Looked like him and Kanye in the studio. Got no problem. Hope he sell millions and millions of records, millions and millions of streams.
Yep.
Whatever the case may be, Skip, I just want AB to understand that there's a process. There's a right and wrong way to do things. And I believe that you've gone about it over the last 5 to 6 years the wrong way. And you've put yourself in this situation. And you shouldn't blame anyone else but yourself. But I hope whatever he chooses to do, I really hope AB is successful.
Okay, so AB dropped his debut track back in 2020, and it was called Whole Lot of Money. I hope he has a whole lot of money, and I hope it lasts.
Yeah.
Because he might need a new venture here, a second career.
Having a whole lot is not the issue. It's keeping a whole lot that's the issue.
I got it. So I'm with you. More power to him. He drops the new track, Pit, Not the Palace. I didn't listen to it. I probably should have. And I hope he does have a second career. And I hope he and his new PR partner, that they're going to disrupt the entire entertainment industry, because we know that AB disrupted the Steelers, and then he disrupted the Raiders, and then he disrupted Mr. Kraft's Patriots, and then he even disrupted the GOAT's Buccaneers, right?
Yes.
He disrupted all 4 of those in a fairly short amount of time.
Right.
So he is a disruptor.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for him because he is riding the wave right now. And it's a great wave to ride because he is as hot as he has ever been for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
But he is literally, I hope, capitalizing on his newfound fame, because he's never been more famous or infamous than he is at this moment, right?
Yes.
And they said he was happy and he's dancing. They shot a music video in the Gentleman's Club. Great for him. Happy for all of the above. I don't know whatever happened to the ankle surgery, but apparently he hasn't had it yet. And apparently the ligament is so torn off the bone, according to him and his new agent or / lawyer, that I guess it's just miraculous that he can tough it out and go ahead and function and go make music videos on that ankle. Okay, here's my problem. You say somebody is going to give him whatever chance we're on, 7th, 8th, 9th chance.
Yeah.
I'm having a harder and harder time believing it, because all of the above that we just discussed will not play very well in NFL boardrooms where a GM is providing and or an owner presiding. They're just going to say, seriously, we want to wish this upon us?
Right.
Because it now appears he's just as interested in being an entertainer as he is in being a football player.
Well, yeah, it'll have no choice. I mean, I guess it seems like right now, Skip, the business of football is off the table. So in order for me to make money, Skip, okay, so maybe the business of entertainment is on the table. Skip, I had when Magic was here, I had a conversation with him off the table.
Yep.
And I was, asking him, just picking his brain and stuff about business. Mm-hmm. He said, Shannon.
Well, nobody knows more than he does about business.
He said, Shannon, being Magic Johnson got me a meeting. But once it got me the meeting, okay, Magic, what do you bring to the table?
I agree.
What can you do? Yep. Okay, AB, okay, it might get you to one of these record companies. Okay, now what? Let's see what you got.
Okay. Have you listened to any of this stuff? I have not.
I heard the Pit and the Palace. I don't know about the Pit. All I know is I like the Palace a lot more than I like the Pit. That's just me.
Pit, not the Palace.
Yeah, no. I like the Palace more than the Pit.
Okay.
Now, I ain't saying I live in a palace, but I lived in something very close to the Pit. And I can assure you, I like where I live now as a place that I lived the first 20 years of my existence, Skip.
Okay.
I'm just saying that's just me.
Okay, so we have seen dozens, if not hundreds, of athletes want to be rappers, and a lot of rappers want to be athletes.
Yes.
It's sort of the one thing where they want to cross over, right?
Yep.
Okay, because there's frustration. They each had a dream of being that, and they became that.
Right.
And they envy each other in weird ways.
Right.
And yet, the only athlete rapper that I've ever listened to, I said, that's the stuff right there. That's the goods.
Right.
Was Damian Lillard.
Yeah, Dame
I think
got
he's
five.
really good.
Yeah.
I think he's like professionally, like he's got magnitude to him where I hear it and it resonates.
I still like Shaq, too. Shaq. Yeah, I do like Shaq. I like Shaq.
Okay.
I mean, I think the thing is, Skip, people can't get past the fact that it's Shaq.
Yeah.
I mean, most rappers ain't 7'1", 350 pounds. So once you get past that, it just I like
Shaq's got a little Biggie going on, just a little, like.
I don't know if he got no. I wouldn't say no Biggie. I mean, Biggie. Biggie is like my number 2. I mean, I don't care all these rappers. Look, I love Jay-Z. I love Kanye. I love T.I. I love Luda. I love all these guys. But for me, ain't nobody replacing Tupac and Biggie. I got Tupac 1. I got Biggie 2.
Okay.
Now.
I got Biggie 1, but that's just me.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
Skip. Some people got Jay-Z, or you like Drake. To each his own. Snoop, my dog, Snoop. I love Snoop. Love Q. Love 40 Water.
So do I.
But ain't nobody topping Pac. Not for me.
Okay, so does AB have even a semblance of a chance to make it as a superstar rapper?
I don't know. He getting in the game a little late.
Yep.
I mean, that's not to say it can't happen. I mean, there are a lot of people that got into the acting bug late and had great success. I mean, Taraji P. Henson probably got started late.
Yep.
And, so anything can happen, Skip. But look, as long as he's not getting in trouble, if this is going to keep him out of trouble, hey,
I'll buy that.
Cut like 7-8 records. I don't care.
Okay, but at some point during the offseason, every one of these teams is going to have to sit down. Anybody who even has a thought about, should we?
Yeah.
And they're going to think, wait a second, he just trashed Brady and Arians.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he trashed Kraft, and then he trashed Gruden and Mayock.
He called Mayock a saltine.
He did.
Well, you know what he called, but I'm just saying.
I know.
He said that.
You can say the word. That's what he called.
I can't say it.
Right.
Because you know how people like, no, he called him a saltine. And then he's on social media talking about free. Even after he taped the conversation that he had with John Gruden on IG Live, you hear this, Skip?
He did. What I'm saying is the GMs and owners, they're still mostly arch conservative. They're going to read this and say, oh, okay, that's enough. Okay, let him go. Let him be free, and he can be free of our league.
So right? You believe he's done? You believe
I just believe he's done.
He'll never catch another pass in the NFL.
I honestly, because there's a part of him I like.
What?
And I just think the league is going to say no.
Let me tell you what he's going to do. This is how he's going to do. He's going to rebrand himself. Mm-hmm. He's going to go down to the USFL.
Okay, you could do that.
He's going to tear that league up.
All right.
And everybody going like, man, you see AB?
Well, he's going to be a coach in that fan league.
I don't care about the fan league. He's going to play in I think that's Rock's league. Isn't that Rock's league, the USFL? But they got a USFL league coming out.
Yeah.
I think it might be.
We got it right here on Fox.
So, and I'm saying, AB going to rebrand himself. He going to get some help. Him and the authority say, he's been speaking to, a therapist. He's right. He's in a good place.
To play in the quote-unquote minor league? That's what he'll think it is.
Hey, if his money jump funny enough, absolutely he'll play in that league.
We'll see. Well, I hope you're right about this, but I just got a bad feeling. Every day is another negative where I say, I don't know. Good luck.
Football people, they look like, oh, yeah, okay. Can you still catch? Can you still run that stop route? Can you run the over route?
Wait a second. Do we have Brady at quarterback? No, we don't.
But that's the thing, Skip. It doesn't matter. Skip. He had Ben Roethlisberger in one locker room. He had Tom Brady. No matter what you think about Ben off the stick, Skip, he going to the Hall of Fame. We know Tom Brady. They should just go ahead and put him in now. They shouldn't even have a 5-year waiting period. Like some people, you shouldn't wait. Like Peyton shouldn't have to wait 5 years.
I agree.
Tom Brady shouldn't have to wait 5. They should do it like hockey. You know, Gretzky ain't wait no 5 years. No. Messi, you don't got Lemieux ain't wait no 5 years.
Nope.
Some people you already know. If you that good,
get him in. At this point, Tom Brady should already be there.
Brady's 5 years might not start for 5 more years.
But I'm saying, all you doing is taking a spot from somebody else. Just go ahead and put the man in.
Put him in.
And and like that, Skip, it shouldn't even go against, okay, we're going to add a little extra guy because Brady, we already know Brady's going in, so we're going to put a 5th guy since now you can have 7 modern players. But I ain't got no problem with that, Skip. I ain't got no problem with AB. As long as AB's out of trouble, he's doing something positive, and hopefully this is a positive thing. He can make some money. I'm all for it.
No mercy. Well, the Browns season started with Super Bowl buzz and ended with the team missing the playoffs and Baker needing surgery on a season-long injury. However, Kevin Stefanski thinks the QB will be part of big things for Cleveland next year, telling reporters, quote, "I fully expect him to bounce back next year." The Browns head coach also said that while Baker was banged up this season, the team doctors did clear him to play every week. So, Shannon, how strongly does Stefanski sound like he's in Baker's corner?
It doesn't indicate anything to me at all, Skip. It just sounds like coaches speak. I heard some of the some of his teammates, Chubb and Teller, the offensive lineman. I heard what they said, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to back your teammate, especially in a situation like this when it's games. He's going out there, he's playing banged up. We appreciate everything he did. At the end of the day, I don't appreciate that. I'm trying to win games. He didn't help us win no games. So what did that get us? Him being tough. Being tough and winning games and being tough and not losing games, give me tough and winning games. And Baker didn't win enough games. So I believe all of this is this team speak, coaches speak, cliches. He's tough. He's a warrior. I'll go to any game. I go to any battle with him anytime. I get all that, Skip. Heard it. I don't believe it. I believe if they get an opportunity to get a quarterback that they believe is better than Baker Mayfield, they will try and do that. That $19 million salary, Skip, considering for a starting quarterback in the NFL, that's peanuts. When the going rate's about $30 to $40 million. So I got Baker Mayfield on a contract that's less than the going rate. I don't have to do anything, but this is what we do know. If they think so much of him, if Stefanski thinks so much of him, give him a contract extension. If you believe that, if you believe that he's the guy who's going to be a part of things to come in the future, go on and give him a Josh Allen deal. Go on and give him one of the Mahomes or give him a Dak Prescott type of deal.
Yeah.
That lets you know what they think. Skip, they extend guys that they believe in, that they believe. Jared didn't believe in Dak. That's why he franchised him. If they believed in him, you know what they do. They don't. So they not.
Well, you don't either. So
I don't.
I dare you once more to say, dump him.
Why would I do that?
Well, why not?
No.
Why would you waste a whole another year?
I get something for him.
Okay, we'll trade him. Do whatever you want to do.
We're going to try to.
Get rid of him.
We're trying to do.
Are you?
Yes.
Do you know that?
We're going to try to. No,
Okay.
I don't know that, but I'm just saying.
Okay, but you've said here recently, you said, well, you got him for a 5th year, just see what you got, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, why would you do that?
Skip, it's kind of like, Skip, when I was growing up in our home, we had mice and snake. If we got rid of the snake, the mice would infest us. So we had to have something, so that's how it worked. So I got Baker. I look at it, I got to have a quarterback, right?
Is he a snake or a mouse?
I don't know which one he is, but I got to keep him around just to see.
Okay.
See how I did that right there?
I think he's a snake. In a good way.
I don't know what this infatuation is with you and Baker. I thought you like winners. Baker hadn't won but one time. You like winners. You like guys that, he could totally do all this. He ain't done none of that.
In a national semifinal, I saw him take Georgia to the brink, to the mat. Kirby Smart's Georgia. He took them all the way to the bitter end and lost whatever it was, 54 to whatever.
They didn't have this Georgia team. He took that Georgia team.
This is a good one. It was loaded.
Not like this team loaded.
Roquan Smith
they got, guess what? And the Kobe Dean, Buckers, that D line.
I believe in Baker Mayfield. No, you don't. And I'm not backing off it at all. And I interpret what Stefanski said as a lukewarm vote of confidence.
Thank you.
It's almost like damning with faint praise.
Okay. We saw it the same way.
He goes through, Baker fought through those injuries, but there's a but. He didn't say but was medically cleared to play in each of those weeks, and he practiced through those weeks, and he felt good. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Baker's using any of that as an excuse. He's actually saying to Baker supporters, you can't use that as an excuse because the team doctor said he could play.
He was talking to Skip Bayless. That's who he's talking to.
Okay. But he says, I'm not denying that guys do, he's saying Baker is not denying that guys in this league play through injury, which is what you've said from the start. Everybody plays through injuries.
Sure does.
I get it. But he concludes, politically correctly, Stefanski says, I fully expect him to bounce back next year. Well, what else is he going to say? Because they gave him his fifth-year option. Right. So it's, what is it, 19 million. Okay. All right, so the same source who had been telling me all year that there are a number of players in that locker room who are big Odell believers who just are down on Baker because they blame Baker for what happened to Odell.
What if they down on Baker because they don't believe he can play? Have that thought ever crossed your mind?
Same guy told me yesterday there are also a lot of players, and we heard from two of them yesterday, Chubb and Teller, both very good players, Pro Bowl caliber players, who really believe in Baker. And the Teller quote was, he's tough as nails. And my source said, he's as tough as nails, and we got a lot of thumbtacks in that locker room. Mm-hmm. And I think they do have some thumbtacks, and I think that was a downfall for them this year, that they don't have some guys who are as tough as Baker was. And I told you, I kept asking you, do you give him any credit for playing through something that should have required surgery in week 2?
No, Skip, because I got to win.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people got to play through things.
Yeah, I know a lot of quarterbacks who would have said, oh, good, I'm out. I'm out. I got a legit excuse. I got to get this fixed. I got a torn labrum and a fractured shoulder. You can't really fix the fracture, but I just got to wait until next year, right? And you saw what happened last year. He was sensational.
Skip, you always, I'm just trying to,
I'm not always, it just happened.
You know what?
Body of work.
I did what you said. I called my mortgage company and I told them, I say, now all of 2021, I met my obligations. I paid. I say, now in 2022, I'm not paying because I paid you last year. You know what that lady told me? She said, well, Mr. Sharpe, after 3 months, we're going to have to ask you to move out the house. So stop telling me about last year and tell me about this year.
Did you tell them I got laid up this year and I just couldn't go to work? No.
They don't care about it.
Could go to work.
They said, guess what? We're going to put somebody in there that did go to work. We're going to put them in that house because they'll be able to pay the note. Okay.
Well, you did not get hurt this year, so you had no excuse.
I didn't get hurt. The pandemic affected me.
And I'm going to bring this up one more time. Alex Van Pelt, who was Aaron Rodgers' guy, he was the quarterback coach in Green Bay, right? Aaron Rodgers was very unhappy that he was dismissed or let go.
Yes, he was.
So he's now Baker's offensive coordinator. Stefanski calls all the plays, so he's the quarterback coach.
Talk about what a downgrade. You go from being the quarterback coach to Aaron Rodgers to coaching Baker.
So the other day he said, Alex Van Pelt said of Baker, that brace that he wears, that harness, it definitely handcuffed him a little bit with his ability to get that left side out of the way. I've told you from the start, Baker Mayfield is a core torque thrower. He is a body whipper. He has to throw with his body.
Well, he got you, Skip. He only 5'7".
Okay, he's 6'1".
I don't know about all that, but okay.
Well, Bryce Young's like 5'10".
Why you wait? We're not talking about Bryce Young. We talking about Baker Mayfield.
I think Baker's like at least 2 inches taller than Bryce is, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But the point is, Alex Van Pelt went way out of his way to say it's definitely something that's hindered him wearing that harness. He's fought through it. I got a lot of respect for the fact that he's battled through it. We know he's injured. Well, you know he's injured, but you won't acknowledge it. You won't give him any credit for it at all. No. What I won't let you and others acknowledge is that when he plays bad, he's injured. But when he plays good, you don't mention the injuries. That's what I will not let you do. Okay, so last year he was not injured. Odell did get injured in the 6th game of the year at Cincinnati. And all of a sudden, coincidentally, Baker took off. And wait a second, they won 8 of the last 11 games. And wait a second, Baker was graded the 4th best quarterback over those 11 games in all of pro football. 20 touchdowns to only 3 picks. Maybe if they had Odell, they'd have went further. Well, guess what? They did go to Pittsburgh, and they beat a pretty good Pittsburgh defense. They hung 48 on it and won 48-37. That's their first playoff win.
Man, Pittsburgh turned the ball over 5-6 times.
Okay,
you want to acknowledge that?
I'll acknowledge it. But Baker threw for almost 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, and had a QBR of 91 in that game, one of the best QBRs of the whole playoff run last year. And that's their first playoff win since 1994. You give him no credit for that. And by the way, his rookie year was pretty sensational because he finished 3rd in the league in big-time throws as a raw rookie.
I tell you what I do. I give him as much credit as you give him blame when things go bad. You blame Stefanski, you blame the defense, you blame Odell. You give him no blame. But yet you want me to lay all the credit at his feet when the defense is outstanding, when Chubb and Kareem Hunt is playing great. Okay,
so Baker came out firing this year. Opener at Kansas City, he throws for 321. They lost, but he threw for 321.
No. You got to tell no context. I need you to tell him that he was up by 19 points. Tell that. You got to tell. If you're going to tell, how you going to just say the end?
321.
So what happened?
That was game number 1. Then guess what happened? They come home for the home opener in game number 2 against Houston Texans, who did have a pretty good defense this year. Baker goes 9 for his first 9, and then he did throw a pick, and he went to tackle the guy because that's what he does. You always get on Teddy Bridgewater for no tackling.
Why you do that?
Right?
I just want to know, Skip.
And Baker goes and busts his shoulder up in game number 2, should have had surgery on the spot, and said, no, we got high expectations.
What you mean we?
Yeah.
We can't get there with you. We can barely get there if you healthy.
Okay,
so if you injured.
So why don't you put money where your mouth is and just say, get rid of him now? But you won't say that.
No, Skip.
Because I'm daring you and Cleveland, get rid of him now so he can come back to haunt you.
He ain't going to haunt nothing.
Well,
Stop it.
He will.
No, he's not that.
And by the way, Mary Kay Cabot, who's really plugged in Cleveland, reported that Baker and Stefanski not really on the same page.
I don't blame Stefanski.
Okay, so now you're stuck with this guy. Well, clear the decks, clear the air. Let's start fresh. Give them both a fresh start, right?
I mean, at some point in time, Skip, we can't just keep firing coaches. I mean, we got rid of Hugh. We got rid of Freddie K, and now you want to get rid of Stefanski. At some point in time, Skip, maybe,
Freddie K, he was all a famer.
We keep changing the ingredients, and the dish still stinks. At some point in time, we done changed. We got 5 chefs. We done had 5 different chefs and 3
dish in the garbage. Let it go. Let's see if somebody else will eat it.
Yeah. Ooh, he bad, Skip. You need to start providing context.
But
he had Kansas City down.
Somebody doesn't have the guts to say, done, out. Say it. If you'll say it right now, I'll respect it.
What?
Say he should get rid of him now. Trade him, cut him, whatever you want to do.
We got time, Skip.
Okay.
Skip, we're getting ready to talk about the playoffs. And you talk about a guy that was supposed to be in the Super Bowl. How your Super Bowl pick looking? Your Super Bowl pick, they didn't make the playoff. At least mine, I'm about to jump ship, but mine in the playoffs.
My Super Bowl pick's looking real good.
No,
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., and he's going to win it all again.
You do realize one of your picks didn't even make the playoffs.
Yep. I got it. And my quarterback got hurt in game 2 and should have had surgery. And when that happens, you are sunk.
What happened in game 1, though?
Yep.
Definitely impacted.
321.
You ain't tell the people who was ahead. He had a 19-point lead.
They were the defending conference champions at Kansas City.
Who was sleeping in somebody's bed? Tell the story. Little Red Riding Hood, how did it happen? You don't want to tell that story. You just talk about the big bad wolf just tried to eat it. What was she doing?
No mercy. Tomorrow night, the Big East goes back-to-back on FS1 as 14th-ranked Villanova takes on 17th-ranked Xavier. Then St. John's faces UConn. Catch this huge doubleheader action starting tomorrow at 6 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Well, despite winning the Heisman this year, Bryce Young couldn't deliver the national championship trophy for Bama as he threw 2 picks in the team's 33-18 loss. The QB will be back in Tuscaloosa next year since he's not yet eligible for the draft. But with recent Crimson Tide QBs like Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa all succeeding in the NFL, people are already curious about his pro ceiling. So, Shannon, in your opinion, will he be a star or just a starter in the NFL?
Skip, I think he has the potential to be a star. I love his accuracy. I believe his arm strength is stronger than Tua and Mac Jones.
No doubt.
He can throw the ball from the pocket. He's very mobile. He can throw the ball on the move. Now, Skip, the thing that he has at his disadvantage, he didn't have the stars that Tua and Mac Jones were throwing to now.
True.
Those 2 guys had 4 or 5 first rounders at the wide receiver position. the offensive lineman, 2 starting tackles in the NFL. Leatherwood is starting. Now, Evan Neal, they got him projected to go high. But what Tua and what Mac Jones had working with is a lot different than what this kid has working with. Najee Harris is a first-round draft pick at running back. I don't know Brian Robinson. I don't think he's going to be a first-round pick. He might be a day 2 or day 3 pick, Skip. That being said, the wide Jameson Williams looked like he was going to be a first-rounder. I still believe he's going to be a first-rounder. I just hope he has the insurance policy that prevents that if something happened, he may get the compensation of what he lost with this injury. But for me, Skip, he's only a true sophomore.
Yep.
He has another year to develop. Now, he's going to have to gain some weight. I don't believe he can play in the NFL, Skip, at 6 foot 195. He needs to be 210 at the bare minimum to be able to absorb the falling, Skip. You see, at the coin toss, you see how they were just towering over him. He's a small man. Small men don't last long unless you got a structure to be able to absorb and withstand just the falling on, let alone the shots, just the falling on a 300-pound man falling on you, Skip. I believe he has star potential. I believe he has better upside than Mac Jones and Tua.
I'm having a hard time going to star quality. He can definitely play in the league, but I start from the start with what you finished on. I'm not sure about the listed height and weight. I just don't think he's 6 feet tall. I think maybe 5'11"-ish.
He's taller than Kyler.
Man, I don't know. Because to your point, I'm watching the coin toss last night, and I'm saying he is a little man.
He is.
And so is Kyler, but Kyler is put together.
Yeah,
Kyler's got
Kyler's
some
a little more dense than he is.
And I'm not sure I saw 195 in this kid, but maybe, I don't know, 185 maybe? Okay, what do I love about him? First, I love his character. He's got football's character.
Yeah.
He's got guts. He's got poise.
He took some punishment last night, and he stood in there.
He's got toughness. Mm-hmm. He took punishment all year long. They didn't protect him all that well. The offensive line doesn't figure. It wasn't that. It wasn't the typical
Alabama offensive line. Yes, you're correct.
And I like his upbringing. I like where he came from. I like his interviews. I like his Heisman acceptance speech. It's high. I give him A+ in all those areas. Mm-hmm. So he has potential to be your franchise carrier because you can trust all the intangibles are supreme with this young man. And yet the size is an issue, and they struggled. He struggled against Auburn. I watched the whole thing, and I was just sort of mesmerized by how he was struggling because he went down 7 times?
That'll cause it. A defense. But to Skip, just think about how many times they sacked him, how many times they hit him, and still he was able to overcome that and still with 30 seconds left on the clock and then score a touchdown and get 2 2-point conversions in order to win the game.
Yep. And he makes the throw of the year in college football with seconds left. He hits a true freshman, Ja'Cory Brooks, who hadn't played much at all. Now, he's a young stud receiver. He's going to be a first-round pick to me, but he just hadn't even played.
Right.
And he makes it was a great throw and a very good catch in the corner of the end zone to tie Auburn to send it to what became triple overtime. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I love that about him. And I also love the fact that this is weird because I've watched him a lot this year. He's not elusive side to side, particularly. There's no like Johnny Manziel, Kyler kind of stuff. This.
No.
But you know what they were calling him going into the second Georgia game? Kirby Smart and company, they're calling him Houdini.
Right.
Because his escape speed, it's more straight ahead quickness. It's like a burst of, he's gone from the pocket. He's got some wheels on him, man. I mean, serious wheels.
He's slithery, Skip. He, like you said, he doesn't have that explosive speed like Kyler or Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, but it's not make you miss side to side, but it's he's out of the pocket, and all of a sudden you say, where did he go?
Right.
Well, last night they were hell-bent to try to keep him pinned in, and they did a pretty good job of it. They did. Because when he got free outside, nobody could catch him. He would get loose. The one throw he made for the touchdown of the tight end that gave them the lead. About 10 minutes left in the game. he's gone, man. You're not going to catch him.
And that's the thing, Skip, is that when he escapes the pocket, he's looking to throw the football. He's not looking to run.
No, he's not looking to run, but he can run.
Yeah, he can. Well, we saw that in the SEC championship game, Skip, that he got out, he got escaped. He scored a touchdown on one, got a huge first down. I just think the thing is, Skip, if that you look at, this is probably the worst offensive line that Alabama's had in, say, the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
You look at this, the offensive line is the starters that protected Tua. Skip, they're littered. I mean, both his tackles are starting in the NFL. His center.
Tua especially had a track team of
receivers.
It was because, listen, Waddle can just flat fly.
Yes.
And he had all that at his disposal. Well, then, a little soft arm Tua, he can get away with it because you can just sort of just find somebody open and throw it to him.
And they make a play, make you miss, and they're off to the races.
They're off to the races. This kid's arm is, I'll definitely give it above average, and his accuracy is high.
Yes.
I'll give you that. I'm seeing high-quality starter. I don't know if I can go to star because I think the size could haunt you. He got a couple passes batted last night. Well, in the next, you go up a level, he's going to get more of them batted because everybody's.
He just needs to understand, Skip, like, okay, if I'm trying to throw to the flat route and I see an edge rusher, you're not going to be able to get that ball over him. You got to change arm angles.
Yeah. There's a lot to like.
Yeah. They'll be back. They'll be back. Coach said, revamp the offense.
He's definitely going to be back.
Revamp that offensive line. They'll be back.
If we've learned anything, Bama, they're not going anywhere.
Unfortunately, Georgia's going to be back too. Georgia's going to be back too.
That defense, I can't get over what we saw last night. No mercy. According to a new report, there's only minimal interest in the NBA trade market for Russell Westbrook. The former MVP's homecoming to LA, well, it hasn't gone as planned, with turnovers and poor shooting keeping Russ from fully flourishing alongside LeBron, who helped bring the star to the purple and gold this offseason. So, Shannon, is Russ becoming a blemish on LeBron's resume or a legitimate excuse here?
It's a blemish. LeBron wanted Russ. No other championship contending team wanted Russ. I get why Russ wanted to come. It's a great Skip. He grew up in L.A. This is an opportunity to play for your hometown team. All the business ventures what Russ has going on, he couldn't pick the better spot. But no other contending team wanted Russell Westbrook.
Yep.
Hence the low interest. There are a lot of contending teams right now, Skip.
But by the way, low interest? How about no interest? Right? Go ahead.
There might be some, but it ain't. But who? For what?
44 million plus next year's 47 million?
Okay. No. Skip, look, LeBron gets credit. He helped assemble the big three. He went back and he brought Kevin Love and some other pieces. He won. He went to L.A. and he got AD to come to L.A. They won. He gets credit for those moves. The big three in Miami, going back and bringing Kevin Love and adding some other pieces. He gets credit for that.
Yep.
He gets credit for going to L.A. and bringing AD and winning a title. This is on his resume. He wanted him. Russ is not in L.A. without LeBron James' blessings.
Heck no.
And I hate it because LeBron is playing even better. Skip, no one thought LeBron James would be averaging 29 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists in year 19. I thought it would be something like, considering that I thought AD would be the central figure. It would average something like 27, 28. LeBron would probably be around 23, 24. Russ would be around somewhere between 17 and 19. That's what I was thinking. 29, the dude has 18, 19. He's already doubled the amount of 30-point games he had all of last year. He's doubled it with another 30-plus games to go.
Okay.
So this is a blemish. This is going to go on LeBron's resume. This is not an excuse. This is not an excuse. You know I'm one of LeBron James' biggest supporters.
I think you're number one.
But this is, you hired him.
Okay.
You wanted him.
All right, I hear what you just said. But I did first guess this, and I'm going to stand by what I said now that we're at the halfway point of this season. They're 21-20, so that's 41 games out of 82, right? So we're exactly halfway. I said from the start, I thought it was a brilliant, strategic maneuver or gamble by LeBron James, who has the highest IQ, basketball IQ in the game. Because I believe that he looked at this and said, if I can pull this off, if I can make this work with that guy, it will be a feather in my quote-unquote GOAT cap or GOAT case, because everyone will sit back and say, KD failed with Russ.
Mm-hmm.
Harden failed with Russ. Kawhi didn't even want any part of Russ and said no to Russ.
Right.
And LeBron, you pull this off, and to pull it off, you'd have to go win the championship,
Right.
okay? Or LeBron said, worst case scenario, if it doesn't work, the quote-unquote GOAT always needs a scapegoat. And listen, there's no bigger, better scapegoat than Russell Westbrook right now at this stage and age of his career, because it's glaring what is happening and not happening.
Right.
It's glaring. I ran across this stat this morning. I couldn't believe this. Guess who's played the most minutes in the NBA this year? The most minutes. That guy, Russell Westbrook. Well, that's, for better or for worse. How do you look at it? Well, it's become for worse.
Correct.
Right? Because he's Iron Man. He hadn't missed a game.
Correct.
So he plays fairly high minutes every single game.
Yes.
Obviously, LeBron's missed some games. Now AD's missed a whole bunch of games.
Right.
Okay. So then we look at what's your productivity so far? Well, he's running away with the turnover lead in the NBA. He has 184 so far. Okay, that's 20 clear of James Harden. Well, it's outrageously wrong. And we've been doing our blooper reels on a daily basis here, right?
Right.
Okay. Now let's look at the shooting. His three-point shooting has plummeted to 29.8%. 29.8%? And you're the point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers? That ranks 149th of 153 qualified three-point shooters. His free throw shooting has plummeted to 65%. You're the point guard of your childhood dream team, the Lakers, right? Yes. That's a career low, and that ranks 97th of 99 qualified free throw shooters. That's horrendously bad. That's so bad you can't overcome the turnovers and the three-point shooting and the free throw shooting. It's impossible to overcome that.
Skip, let me tell you what contending team wants a ball dominant, inefficient, bad three-point, turnover prone, no defense. Who wants that? What am I going to do with that, Skip? Okay,
I got it. But for Shannon, Sharpe, and other LeBron supporters, you sit back right here, right now, halfway through, you're only one game above 500. Well, who's the most to blame? Well, it's clear, and I can't argue with you. Yeah. It's that guy.
Yeah, Russ hadn't played, Skip, Russ hadn't played well. We didn't first, second, third. I foreshadowed it. When I heard this, man, don't get Russ.
I give you that. You did say
no,
that.
You don't need Russ.
Right.
Russ has been a disappointment. If you ask anybody from Frank Vogel to Rob Pelinka to Jenny Buss, you ask anybody he's been a disappointment. But AD's been a disappointment also, Skip.
Okay.
I don't want us
not
to
not like this.
No. Yeah, actually, Skip, because you saw what AD did his first year there. You saw what AD did in the playoffs. AD hadn't been close to that guy since. And it's disappointing. AD is in his prime. I got an excuse. I can say, well, LeBron's not in his prime, although he's playing like a prime player. Russ is maybe a little past, but it's not like Russ is 38. Anthony Davis is smack dab in the middle of his prime.
Okay, I got it.
There is no excuse why AD shouldn't be averaging. Look at his stuff.
Okay,
Look at his three-point. Look at his mid-range shooting.
All right, but you do have injury excuses with him that you don't have with Russ.
He was playing bad before he got injured.
I got it. He wasn't playing up to your expectations because you wanted him to be the one to LeBron's 1A.
I don't think he was playing up to anybody's expectations, Skip.
Okay, I got it.
But Russ...
Okay, just to put this in perspective, instead of a turnover blooper reel today, let's just take a quick look, shall we?
No, you showed the shots.
At the missed shots just against Memphis the other night. And they got embarrassed by Memphis because they were down 29 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yes.
These are his 10 missed shots. He was 2 for 12. Russ?
I think he got caught in between the going up the backboard and going straight. Skip, what is this?
Russ, come on. Russ? Whoops. That wasn't bad. It wasn't too bad.
Look at it.
Russ. What is that? He shot an air ball off the top of the backboard. How did
him
he
in that left hand.
Yeah, you can't do it. Wild hands. Okay, that's just a dare shot. He back on.
And he held a pole, Skip. He held it.
I know, he did.
Like this thing going, look at.
Those are wild drives. Like no touch.
What's this, Skip? That left hand again. Okay. He keep throwing it there with the left eventually.
Russ, I know you can make this one.
Left hand again.
Whoops, nope.
And he left-handed. That's what people don't realize. Russ is a natural. He does everything except shoot a basketball with his left hand.
Russell Westbrook. You know it, and I know it. And the truth is, he's always been that. But it got masked and camouflaged because for the last 5 years, he averaged a triple-double.
Yep.
Who can deny it? Nobody can. Who can criticize that? Nobody. He's a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer, and he is the bane of your existence. He is the reason, the biggest reason by far to me, that you're 21-20, because despite the lack of production from AD, the just insurmountable turnovers and missed shots and missed free throws.
It's demoralizing, Skip.
Yeah.
We get a fast break, layup, and we got this layup, about to get two, about to cut this lead down to 4.
Yep.
And he throws it out of bounds, or he just point blank misses it.
Right. Worst point guard hands I've ever seen belong to this man.
I totally agree. But you know what, Skip? I got to see it in person. I'm going to a game. I got to see this in person.
Okay. Good for
TV,
you.
I don't believe TV do it justice.
Music there
Maybe
to
you'll turn 'em
highlight
around.
just how bad it was. Shannon, are you going to be courtside, giving advice?
I'm going to be courtside. I got to see this up close. I mean, being 20 rows back, that don't do it justice. You got to see,
I need a visual of you getting too involved in the Lakers while you're sitting right there. Just kind of,
Some tell me I'm going to leave early, though.
Helping from afar. No mercy. Before beating the Nets last night, Blazers coach Chauncey Billups had high praise for Kyrie Irving. Billups said, quote, Kyrie is he's a wizard, man. He's just must-see TV. I personally think, as somebody that played the position, that Kyrie's the most skilled player that's ever played that position. How about that quote? Shannon, do you agree?
I do. I won't argue with my dog. I've known Chauncey Billups since he was in high school at George Washington High School in Colorado.
Denver, yeah.
Denver. Skip, I will not argue that. If you talk about handles, you talk about his ability to finish at the rim with either hand. You talk about the three, the mid-range. Now, Steve Nash could shoot just as good as Kyrie. He couldn't handle the ball. He couldn't finish like Kyrie. But I tell you what, Magic Johnson couldn't handle the ball like Kyrie. He couldn't finish at the rim like Kyrie. And he definitely couldn't shoot the ball like Kyrie. But everybody would take Magic Johnson 10 times out of 10.
Oh, sure.
I would take Isaiah Thomas. He's the most skilled. But Kyrie's not in my top 5 of point guards. He might brush the top 10. I don't think people are in awe because he can dance with the basketball. He's an and one. He can literally get to be hot sauce, Skip to my Lou, the professor. Anybody that you know on that tour, Kyrie can handle the ball just like they can. Mm-hmm. But it's more than that than playing the game of basketball, Skip.
Well, I got it. Hey. Nobody has ever played this game with a deeper bag of tricks than this still young man has.
No.
When I was a kid, the highlight was to see the Harlem Globetrotters come to town once a year. I just lived for it. Yeah. Well, he's an embodiment of everything. He's Meadowlark Lemon. He's all that rolled into one. Yeah. Okay, but the problem is he's 6 feet 2 inches tall, so he's not the tallest player. Right. And here's why I take issue with Chauncey, and I love Chauncey. Mm-hmm. I believe in Chauncey, and I hope he can tough it out there and they can get through the night in Portland. They actually had a big win last night against Kyrie and KD.
Yes.
No James, but in the end, I'm having a hard time seeing Kyrie as a point guard. I just don't think he is because I look at the numbers and his career average assists is 5.7. Well,
that's too guardish.
Okay, it's too guardish. it's Jordanish. You know, it's just so his career playoff average is 5 a game. It's not like LeBron's a way better. He's 100 times better as a distributor, a point guard, an orchestrator. Kyrie's not an orchestrator.
Well, see, Skip, the thing is, when you think of point guard, you think of the Magic, you think of the John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Mark Jackson, you think of the Chris Paul, you think of the old school point guard.
Who do I want running my show? Well, not Kyrie. Do I want him on my team? You better believe it.
The new point guard, which is 2 guard, is Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, Kyrie Irving, James Harden. That's the new age of point guard. I don't believe we're going to see a true point. The Ja Morants, the LaMelo Balls, they get labeled point guards, but they're masquerading. They're twos masquerading.
Okay, but what happened right away? No sooner had James walked in the door than Kyrie told him, "You play point." He just knew.
I'm trying to score the basketball. You do all that distributing. You facilitate.
Because James is pretty good at it, right?
Yes, but here's the thing, Skip. Leadership. The number one quality I think a point guard needs to have is leadership. It didn't work out well in Boston. We saw how things didn't get off to the greatest of starts in Brooklyn.
No.
So,
and you made the point that before LeBron went home, Kyrie was struggling, right?
He was. Okay. It was as simple as that. I mean, yeah, he was an outstanding. He had all those handles, could shoot the ball on a team that was to get the number 1 overall pick every year after year after year after year.
Okay, got it. So in the end, I agree with Chauncey, but I don't like the position. I just don't.
Yeah, I Skip, look, we're not going to debate talent, skill, because he's skilled as any point guard or that's ever handled the ball. But Skip, there's so much more that goes into it than just skill.
Yep.
You taking him over Magic? You taking him over Isaiah?
No.
You not taking him over Chris Paul?
Yes.
Do I want him on my team? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
We're pretty impressive guys. No mercy. The Grizzlies have won 9 games in a row as they prepare to host the Warriors tonight. However, Fox Bet Sportsbook actually has Golden State as a 2-point road favorite against John Moran and company. So, Shannon, is Memphis a contender in the West?
Skip, I think they're going to be there. I think they can win a first-round series. But are they a true contender? I don't believe they can beat the Warriors. I don't believe they can beat Phoenix in a 7-game series. But John Moran is the star, and they're going to be reckoned with. They're going to win a lot more games than I previously thought they would. I can see them winning 55 games. Skip.
Do you remember what happened last year in the play-in game? Steph and Draymond lost to him at Golden State. This is a contender. When they get whole, they don't have Dylan Brooks now and Steven Adams. But when they get them whole, they're 28-14. They're 14-6 on the road. They are going to be a tough out for anybody, and I include Golden State and Phoenix.
When Clay comes back, they're going to be a different animal.
Okay, are they going to find their rhythm?
They're going to find their rhythm. I just need Steph. Steph is in a little, well, I guess I shouldn't say slump because Dak Prescott's going to get upset if you say slump. But Steph Curry's in a little slump right now. He going to bounce out. He ain't going to always shoot 38% from the 3, Skip.
Memphis is legit. Okay.
You just said that because they beat the Watch what Bron does tomorrow night against Sacramento.
Congrats against Georgia. The Herd is next. Have a good one.